Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. What a coincidence. It's episode 316, and you have us covering a Steve Austin match. But Jeff, first, how the hell are you doing?
I'm doing good. We're September now. We're getting into fall. It's the, leaves are changing and all that good stuff. Yeah, like you said, celebrating 316 day. Episode 316, had to do an Austin match, had to make sure that we had a good one. And of course, there's no shortage of matches to pick from. So this was really an easy call. It's been a while since we've done an Angle match or even a Stone Cold match. And so, about a couple months here. So it was time. And why not?
Well, I'm pumped to cover this one. And fun fact, I don't know if you know this, I was at this show, and
yes,
we're going to start off the match by seeing Mama Angle. And believe it or not, I was behind her. I doubt I'm on screen, but I mean, maybe like 10 rows behind her, but on the floor. I think she was sitting behind commentary. I can't remember, but yeah, I was at this one. So I'm pumped to cover it. I think we're gonna have a fun time on this one. And this was towards the tail end of Steve Austin's in-ring career. It's wild how quickly that all came and went. I mean, you forget that. You look at how long we've had Cena and Reigns and go down the list, and it's like, man, Ringmaster shows up and Steve Austin is retired. It just seemed like it happened in a blink of an eye. So, this should be a good one. Are you ready to get into it?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. It's time for the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
As I said, we're in Pittsburgh, PA, my hometown, September 23rd, 2001 at the Mellon Arena, otherwise known as the Igloo. Did a buy rate of 350,000. And we start off with a dark match. Billy Gunn defeating Tommy Dreamer in 3 minutes. Now, at the time, we had wrestlers that were part of the WWF, and we had wrestlers that were part of the Alliance. So just remember that situation was going on. Obviously, we've talked about it before. It wasn't well done. The key talent wasn't available. The WCW they bought was on life support. We had to throw ECW that also went out of business into this. We start off the show with the Dudley Boys defeating Big Show and Spike Dudley, the Hurricane and Lance Storm, and the Hardy Boys in a 4-way elimination match for the tag team championships in 14 minutes. Perry Saturn's going to defeat Raven in 5 minutes. Christian is going to defeat Edge to become the IC champion in 11 minutes. Kane and The Undertaker are going to defeat Chronic for the WCW tag team championships. They're going to go ahead and retain those. Rob Van Dam, your hardcore champion, is going to defeat Chris Jericho in 16 minutes. I'm sure that was a fun one. The Rock is going to retain his WCW championship. I mean, it just sounds stupid saying this stuff. Defeated Booker T and Shane McMahon in a handicap match in 15 minutes. So great way to make Booker look strong. Rhino is going to win the WCW US championship in 4 minutes by defeating Tajiri. So everyone but one match has been for a title. And then Kurt Angle, Steve Austin for the WWF championship. That's the match we're going to cover. Pretty well rated matches here. The tag match did well. Rob Van Dam and Jericho did well. So I don't know. I mean, good matches. Just and obviously we love these talents. Many of them are or will be Hall of Famers. But man, this whole idea of we know Vince bought WCW and ECW, or at least acquired their assets out of bankruptcy, but we're going to try to present them as a legitimate threat. And we know they're not a threat. And it all fell flat, man. So that's what's going on at the time. How did we get to Angle and Austin?
Yeah, so this one, like you said, it very much has to deal a lot with this alliance versus the WWE at the time. And so this was, like we said, 2001 when this was going down. And so you had July of 2001, which this match and card taking place the end of September 2001. So that July, you had Austin turning heel again, aligning himself with the Alliance, the WCW team and ECW team, and really turning against Vince more than anything. And so Kurt originally was a heel kind of at this time, but kind of changed him over to a baby face because he then became really the face of WWE, representing WWE as the face during this one against Austin, since Austin had the kind of, straight shot heel angle on this one. So SummerSlam, before this show, you had them this was a title match that was actually a DQ win for Angle, but because Austin retained because it was a DQ win. And so he actually attacked the refs in that one so that he wouldn't lose the belt. After that, we had just a lot of back and forth between these guys. You, of course, had throwing Angle's medals into the river was a big part of this angle as well, too. You had Angle tying up Austin, getting him to sing songs. And so eventually you had Vince McMahon kind of endorsing Angle as the face of, a couple different ways here, of WWE, but then also, like you said, your hometown, also the hometown of Kurt Angle. So this was a hometown match for Kurt Angle coming into this one too. So he was really he was the super hot baby face coming into this one, taking on Austin at this point. So yeah, just good little build, couple months here, kind of, it was a rematch in some ways. It just was. And so getting that and then kind of moving on through the storyline at this point. But yeah, that's how we got here.
Well, we've got so much to talk about. Luckily, it's a 23-minute match, so we'll try to cover it all. We're at the 2-hour, 11-minute mark, the main event of this pay-per-view. Are you ready, Jeff?
Yeah, one other thing I want to point out, just the timeline as we're thinking about it, is this was 2 weeks after 9/11. And so you've got Angle as the face with this one too, representing America, all that. And so that was playing into this as well too. So just something as well as, we throw any commentary on, or Angle, and why he might seem a little more emotional than other times. It's because we're coming off of that. Yeah.
Well, if Vince was
ready.
So Vince booked this, so we're in Kurt Angle's hometown right after 9/11. I think the heel's going to win.
He would think, yeah. Ask Davari, yeah. So here we go.
Goodness. All right. 2-hour, 11-minute mark. Unforgiven 2001, season 4 on Peacock. Jeff, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. It's time for the payoff.
Oh, it's time for the payoff.
Jackie, Kurt lost his father when he was 16 years old, and Jackie raising 4 sons and a daughter.
All right, here we go.
They are made of good stuff.
Angle's pumped. Right after 9/11, Stars and Stripes. We're in his hometown.
Yes, this was the
I don't even remember this theme music from Austin.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if that's dubbed over or what, but I don't remember that version at all.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Fink
so we're off
couldn't
and running.
even. Howard Fink.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. No, as I say, Howard Finkel couldn't even get it out. We're already brawling.
Yeah, it's funny. I heard this comparison recently, but they're like, the Cena heel turn sucked just like the Austin one did. I'm curious where you are on this. Look, the Austin thing was a mistake. It just it didn't work. It didn't draw. It didn't create interesting storylines. It was just I won't say disaster because it's not. It didn't kill the business. It didn't kill Steve Austin. But in hindsight, he just shouldn't be a heel. And I'd argue we might be there with Cody right now too. We tried this Cena heel thing. My feeling on it is, was it a home run 10 out of 10? No. Was it a disaster? No. Should it be compared to what happened with Steve Austin? No, I don't think. I think wrestling fans are lazy when they make analogies. I don't think it's the same. I think the Cena thing, we have to look at this year in totality, right? So we're in the kind of stretch run here of this Cena run, and I don't know if it was. I haven't seen this. My guess though is Cena, maybe along with the help of some other people, made a list of, hey, here's my bucket list of everything I want to do my final year. And as you look about that and you say, well, I want to work Punk. I want to work Cody. I want to work Orton. I want to turn heel, right? I think that was part of it. And so it did that. I think it was fun. I think it worked. I mean, it was a good thing to do for part of the final run. Was it a 10 out of 10? No, but I really enjoyed it. How about you?
Yeah. So I think it's interesting, now that we've got a little bit more hindsight on this, and who knows in, 10 years how we'll feel about it. But I think watching in the moment, I do kind of wonder. I think it is. I think you could almost when the turn actually happened, I think you could put it next to the Hogan turn. And I think that's how close they were. And if you look at, here we look at the build, the payoff, and the aftermath. And so that one, the payoff of that was incredible, in the moment. But then I think almost immediately it fizzled very quickly. I do kind of wonder if they knew, which they get into this a little bit I don't know if you finished all of the Unreal series or not.
I actually have not yet. I still have an episode left.
Okay. And so they do kind of get into it a little bit on that, but I think that they just didn't have, I think that this was a case of listening to the fans, and the fans it just didn't work exactly like they wanted it to. And I think luckily, when we've kind of pivoted a little bit now from it, I think that was the way to go. Like you said, I'm sure he wanted to turn heel, and they all liked the idea, and it was finally time to do it, just so we could see it. But I think, we got the NWO from Hogan's turn. I feel like maybe it, would have been different if The Rock was still around. We'll never know. We're going to need another Unreal to kind of unravel that of kind of what happened there. It looks like the Travis Scott bridge is burnt. So I don't know. They were all involved in those conversations, and who knows what could have been. But I feel like in the moment when it happened, we were all like, oh my gosh, that was a 10 out of 10. But then almost immediately it got to a 3 or a 4 out of 10 because they just, they caught the ball and they didn't know how to shoot it.
I think the explanation of that is pretty simple. You make a good point that coming out of the gate, it was super hot. I just don't think John Cena is a good heel.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay. So in the history of the business, I've always believed there's only a handful of people that were top baby faces and top heels, which to me makes them that much better in the overall lore of their legacy. So who has been a world-class baby face and heel? Hulk Hogan did it. Brock Lesnar's done it. Bret Hart did it. There's not a ton. And then you can say, oh, Shawn Michaels did it. It's yeah, but he was a better baby face. I mean, that was kind of what he did the majority of his career. I mean, he was really a heel for a little bit, but he really found his footing as a baby face. And the fans turned him because they wanted him to be babyface. And the way he wrestled, it was going to be hard for him to ever really be a heel. Steve Austin couldn't be a heel. Hey, Kurt Angle, pretty good at doing both. Cena couldn't really be a heel. I don't know if Cody can truly be a heel. Orton has done a great job of being both a babyface and a heel. So, but again, Triple H, okay babyface, but really a heel. So, it's just Punk, great babyface, great heel.
Yep.
So that's where it sometimes we just assume that anyone can do either of those, and they can't. Also, in this day and age, we just know these people so well. I feel, based on all the podcast interviews I've heard with Cody, I feel like I know him pretty well. I think he's a very authentic guy. So if he came out as a heel, I'd go, hey, he ain't a heel. He's a nice guy that loves his daughter, loves his wife, loved his dad, loves his mom. Like this guy's not a bad guy, right? But then Gunther, I'm like, that son of a bitch. He's just an angry, mean guy, so it's just Drew McIntyre. He kind of is a heel in real life, right? I mean, that's his personality. So, that's what I think makes it hard, especially in this day and age, is we know these people so well. 20, 30, 40 years ago, right? Guys weren't going on podcasts doing interview. Guys weren't giving you a glimpse of who they really were. We didn't know who Hulk Hogan was in real life. We just knew the character he played on TV, and then who he was on late night shows. But that was a character, right?
And I think a lot of what goes into that is, and you kind of touched on a little bit here, of like, it's the kayfabe of it. Like, it's really hard to disconnect Cena from all the Make-A-Wish stuff. It's hard to disconnect him from all the, the movies and the comedy roles that he's done. I think, like you said it, and this is like the Occam's razor of it. Like, the simplest explanation is that the best one, and it's that he's just not a good heel.
Well, and that's okay. Remember too, he was still doing babyface interviews on Stephanie McMahon's podcast and other places. Yeah. So he was doing interviews as a babyface, talking about playing a heel character.
Yep. Yeah. So we got Angle. I was going to say Angle's pulling the mats back here.
It was never going to work beyond what it did, but I think they knew that, and I think they said, let's do this as part of the final run to check the box. I'm going to put Cody over and pass the torch, and then, we'll go from there. So we've removed the mats. This is, and I know at this point WCW's out of business, but this is what I always felt. This is one of the reasons why the WWF in this era was always destined to win the battle, because you could count on a really good 20 to 30 minute main event on every card. I mean, go look at every pay-per-view they did 97 on, and you had, I think Austin's bleeding here. You have the Falls Count Anywhere. You have the blood. And that's, you just didn't get this in WCW. And I think eventually, when some of the luster of the NWO wore out, what was left? Well, what was left is, I'm paying $30 to watch a horrible match between Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, or a horrible match between Kevin Nash and Goldberg, or a very blah match involving a, no offense, but past their physical prime, Ric Flair or Macho Man or Sting or whoever else. Some of those, as you went on with WCW, they just weren't that great of matches. And I think part of this business, sometimes an overrated part of this business, is the in-ring. And Cody and Cena delivered a world-class main event at SummerSlam. Like those types of matches, I felt like most months we got that in WWF, and you weren't getting that in WCW.
Yeah, and it's just part of this is too, like, I do think that Triple H has a plan on some of these things. Like I said, you never know if people are coming and going. The Rock doesn't want to come back. Like, somebody could get hurt here, and that kind of just puts an end to everything. You don't want that, but that, just trying to figure out, sometimes you just got to let it breathe. You just got to see what happens. They know, like, that, what they're going to do. And yeah, we may not like it, but also, like, I'm not going to stop watching. Like, that's the other thing is, like, we are some of the, maybe there's some sports that, that's where we get this, but like, there is no other industry, entertainment, venue where you can literally hate the product every single week, but then come back and watch it every single week. Like, that's just, and again, like we said, it's that's the easiest solution is, like, just stop watching. Like, if you're really not enjoying it that much, maybe take a little time off. You and I do it too. We're like, oh, I'm not reading the dirt sheets anymore. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, we just need a little bit more time on some of this. And so I think that's part of it. Like, if you're hating that much on any aspect of this, like any kind of team, you don't like Karrion Kross and what they're doing here, or any, like, just take a step back. It's not the end of the world. It's okay. Like, wrestling is meant to be enjoyed.
Yeah. I mean, I won't say my, like, breaking point, but man, seeing people's reaction to Hulk Hogan on Twitter, that was for me a big wake up call of, like, there's some really disturbed people on Twitter. And I mean, yeah, no kidding, Tom, you already knew that, but it was really bad.
Yep.
It is just such a cesspool. I mean, I tried to, like, block and remove as many people as possible. I mean, all I want on my wrestling Twitter feed is just, like, decent human beings that talk wrestling. And maybe they love a match, maybe they don't like a match, but I don't need quote unquote journalists trying to spoil stuff. I don't need people dancing on graves because these superstars did not live perfect lives like they do. I don't need the negativity of this sucks, this is bad, this is horrible, this is the worst, this and that. Then don't watch, to your point. Just don't watch it. If this genre gives you so much anger and you have so much disdain for Triple H because he was at the White House, or Hulk Hogan because he said some things 10 years, just don't watch. You don't have to watch. Go do something else. But just to be sitting there so negative, and that negative energy, that's not good for you. Like, so it's just funny. It's like people complain about their mental health, and it's like, well, you're on Twitter all day angrily tweeting about this genre. It's not making you happy. Then perhaps you shouldn't watch it. Perhaps you should find something else. Maybe DC Comics will give you more enjoyment. Maybe a television show, or a hobby, or watching a new sport. Maybe get into the WNBA. Try something different. This genre is not helping you out, but it is just it's unbelievable. And then you get, Jeff, these people that are on the periphery that I would say are, like, trying to generate an income off the wrestling industry. And they're either an analyst or they're a journalist. They're not fans that are doing this for the love of the game like you and I and many others. They're trying to get an income from it. So then it's like, well, how can I try to get engagement? So then they get legal documents and they know nothing about the law, but they take accusations and try to drive a wedge through people so that they'll argue, so that their tweet gets more views, so that they can try and sell them a $5 a month Patreon. I mean, it's just so like those people are of no value or no use to the wrestling business. You know,
right.
I hate saying it. Like 30 years ago, someone like Meltzer, I think had value. He had access to data. He had access to things behind. What purpose do these people serve now? This information's available free on Twitter. The data is readily available. The WWE is showing you behind the scenes how some of the, sausage is made.
Mm-hmm.
What purpose do these people serve other than to just be highly divisive? In my point, all that they do is drive a wedge through people trying to watch wrestling. They're either spoiling things, or they're throwing a wet blanket on things, or, hey, I know this guy just came back, but he was mentioned in a civil case, so we're going to try to talk about that right now as opposed to how cool this moment was. It's just horrible, man. So it's just nice. I just like watching it. I like to enjoy it, and I like to have a handful of people I can talk to about it, and that's all I need. I don't need to sit there and argue with people that frankly are not worth engaging with.
Yeah, on some of this stuff, it's absolutely not. So we got a really good match going on at this.
Excellent match.
Angle kind of doing the suplexes at this point, and so and they've been in the ring, been out of the ring, been back and forth, so doing all kinds of stuff here. Everybody is, and so been real good, but hard hitting, all of that, no blood or anything, but they've been going a solid 15 minutes at least here, and we still got some time going. So just working each other real hard.
Yeah, and I was obviously thinking about this with Hulk Hogan, just looking back at his career. It's the same thing with Austin, where you have to remember these guys were going 7 nights a week. I mean, I know it's become like cliche of like, oh, I wrestled 400 matches a year, and this, but that wasn't bullshit. I mean, you look at this Austin match, and I mean, this is obviously like a really intense one. He's keeping up with Angle, but on a neck that had been broken. But hell, both of these guys had broken necks, right? And I mean, as we're saying this, they're going off the top rope. But like these are two guys that had surgically repaired necks, are going to go 23 minutes. And I understand that this is, a pay-per-view match, but these guys were doing this on house shows, right? I mean, this is what, if you're a main eventer, you had to go out and put in, so Austin was working very, very hard every single night. And it's no wonder their bodies break down. Now you look at it and you go, well, Roman Reigns could wrestle till he's 50. Cena, is able to, I mean, these guys can get more mileage out of their career when they don't have to work, every week or every night.
Yeah, there was a lot of like these guys too, like talking about like they had a lot of chemistry together. Like I think like this little feud was short almost, but I was actually seeing some reports too of like that some of their house show matches were actually better than like some of these live show matches. There was a couple in where do we have here? The Madison Square Garden one, of course, it's Madison Square Garden. He was a face on that one, or Angle was the face on that one too. So getting that kind of crowd. Chicago, of course. Chicago is always a hot city for all this stuff. We had, it said Angle got busted open the hard way, possibly from a chair shot. It was a DQ, but fans gave it an ovation. And then they in Toronto, and we're pushing the time on this one. Like they did a 25-minute match at a house show in Toronto. And I'll have to try and find this one actually. So, because they said it was one of the best live WWE matches of the year.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I've heard. I think even Bret Hart said some of his best matches were like on European tours, untelevised.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's check in on the crowd here.
Driving that neck back, a Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I mean, these two are just beating
Angle
shit
holding
out
his
of
neck, holding his head, and now the referee.
I mean, this has been a hell of a match, dude.
Yeah, and
not that I'm surprised, but I mean, it's just a great match. So you mentioned the Unreal show. Here's been my big aha on this. So of course you're like, is it going to kill the business? Is it going to kill the mystique? Absolutely not. That's it. I don't think so at all. I zero concern over any of that. Here's what I think it does, Jeff. I think it creates. Wow, Angle just hit the stunner. Is that it?
Yeah. Oh my God! What a way to win! What a way!
Oof,
so
close.
Here's what I think. Here's how I'll describe Unreal. It gives you a different layer. So now I'm excited for SummerSlam because I can't wait to see Punk and Gunther go at it. I'm really excited for it. Okay. So now Austin hits the Angle Slam. This is a great finish. Let me make this point real quick. Oh, and you got Heyman on commentary. So I'm excited to watch the PLE and the TV shows and the build for it. And then I watch it and I'm really excited about that. Now, 6 months later, I'm excited to see the behind the scenes. Was it always going to end this way? Who else was considered to win the Rumble? What was the behind the scenes of the Cena heel turn? I want to see the footage of Brock Lesnar coming out. I want to see the behind the scenes footage of who knew about the Rollins work injury. None of that exposes it, Jeff, because it happens afterwards. But now it's an entirely different layer. Now you've given me an entirely different piece of content to look forward to. It would be like after WrestleMania 3, 6 months later, I want to know, did Hogan practice slamming Andre? Did he know he could? How was Andre feeling before the match? What did Vince say to Andre after the match? None of that exposes the business. None of that ruins anything. It's just another way to consume the genre. And it's happening far enough later. If it aired the next night, maybe too soon. But 3 months, 6 months, 9 months later, I think it's fascinating. Where do you land on it?
Yeah, I think that I've watched it all at this point, and they did at SummerSlam. I remember some tweets that were out there that said they spotted backstage one of the producers of Unreal, and he was with a camera guy, or he was the camera guy or something. And so they think that they were filming more for Unreal.
Yeah, it was renewed for a second season.
Yes, and so we know that that's coming, and so. Oh, we got the tap out there from last time with the ankle lock. So, but I put a quick bow on it. I agree with you 100%. I think it adds, it's just something cool to see. And some of their rationale, like literally they're just sitting around in a meeting room being like, hey, like what if we did it with Jay? And then Jay, he kind of fizzled a little, but he's still real hot. And so you can see that's why they took the belt off him for a while, put it on. But we got to see like, why did they do that? Okay, well, he didn't think that he could keep up. And so, there was that aspect of it. And then you see how much it means to all of them. I think that they the people they focused on were good choices, but I'd love to see some of the lower card. We won't because, they can't necessarily, but I'd say the lower card people of like them getting their shot. Like, I want to see an LA Knight documentary at the end of the year, something just, when he gets his push. Yeah. I think seeing the insight to the Seth stuff, like, spotted in Birmingham, like they flew him to Birmingham to fake us out. Like, that's awesome. So, got Angle up on the shoulders now of WWEF wrestlers who are celebrating in the ring.
WWF rosters in the ring.
Family of the superstars of the WWF. The most coveted prize in sports entertainment has found.
All right. That was really good. Let's get to
Good stuff.
The aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
What'd you think?
That's really good. Really good match. Like I said, told a good story of kind of what they were doing. Obviously, you have to add that extra layer of kind of what was happening in the world at that point, or had happened in the world at that point. And so I had to feel good for Angle too. Like, we know the heart he put into some of this stuff. And so crowd eating it up too, hometown guy, like, just, what's not to love about all of it?
I thought the match was excellent. I mean, not that I'm surprised, but dude, I mean, that's just,
Well, here it comes, fans. Here it comes.
That's just a like really, really good 23-minute brawl. I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting into this one a little bit. So they actually had a rematch the following night. It was a steel cage match on Raw, of course, because we have to do that. And get into
little too much of that stuff. Especially in that era, I hated rematches the next night, because why am I paying $30 or $40 if it's going to be on free TV the next night?
Well, and why the added, I mean, I get why the added stipulation of having the steel cage, but also, like, why didn't we get that? Yeah. So you got to look at that one, or from that angle too. So this one, like I said, he ended up getting his medal there was a medal ceremony the next night as well too. It was really just a few weeks later, Austin actually won the title back because, again, the Alliance kind of helping him in that one. But and so you had, though, then Angle, its Survivor Series, pretended to side with the WWF only to betray them during the elimination match, but that was later revealed to be a double agent move in Vince McMahon's plan. So it's just a whole thing. And so we'll talk about that a different day, because that one was it is a good little story there too. But Kurt Angle #1, Steve Austin #2, 2001. That makes perfect sense to me. Mostly all thumbs up on this one, 89%. It was the top match by a lot here. It was his first win as a babyface, and Austin ended his tenure since Mania. Believe it or not, this was the longest WWE title reign in nearly 5 years, just under 6 months, dating back to 1996, where Michaels won it from Brett at Mania and held it until he beat Sid at Survivor Series. Finish was very basic, almost Japanese style. Tapped out. Give him credit that if they were going to do it, they did it the right way. The entire Angle family and most of the babyface wrestlers hit the ring for the celebration as the show went off the air. 4 stars. Tom, what are you giving this one?
Well, who gave it 4 stars, Meltzer or Keller?
Meltzer.
I think it was higher than that. I think this was a fantastic match. I'll give this an 8.
Yep.
All of an 8, maybe even more, but I'll give this an 8. It was a great match. Happy ending, hometown, just really good stuff. The only thing that keeps it from being higher to me is the storyline around it sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Austin is the heel, the build, wrestling again the next night, hot-shotting the title. Just hated this era. But this match was excellent. What about you?
Agreed. Yeah, just all around. I'm going to give it. I'm with you. I'm at an 8. I think it was really good, and it's a solid 8. That's a sturdy 8. And so it was just really good. This is one where if you want to watch just good in ring, like these guys, a little bit out of the ring too, but just a good match between 2 great wrestlers. This is one. Some we say don't revisit. This is one to revisit.
Yeah, it's just a great professional wrestling match. This is a main event, and again, that was always one of the biggest things with WWF. Even when they were getting their asses kicked by WCWs, they delivered with the main events. And that's where to be a WWF champion, you had to do 25, 30 minutes a night, not just on the pay-per-views, but on the house shows as well. So not everyone could do that. Hogan did it. Cena did it. Austin did it. Go down the list, but not everyone could do that.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely. Good.
Well, we're going way back next.
Way back.
Is this okay? Question for you. Next week, we're going back to March of 1981. Is this the oldest match we've ever covered in 317 episodes?
It is the oldest match by 3 years. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
And so we had some 84 and a bunch of 85 matches, of course, because of WrestleMania 1 taking place. But this is way back in 1981. That's how far back we're going. Yep.
Good, man. I'm pumped to cover this one. So as always, we appreciate you listening. If you want negativity and griping and complaining about how awful the business and the talent are, go elsewhere. We just talk about how awesome wrestling is. So thank you as always for joining us. We'll see you next week on an all new episode of The Payoff.